Utah State in control so far, up 27-3 on UTSA. But as we take a look back at the first half highlights, some good things for UTSA. It started with this interception as Eric Brown gets a touch on the pass and Tristan Wade picks it off. That gave them some hope, and they have had some success in the passing game, as we'll see here with Ryan Polite throwing to Cole Hubble. But Forrest, they tried to run the ball a lot in the second quarter and didn't have a lot of success.
And I don't understand that. You did well going vertical, and when you look at what they've been able to do, why not continue to do that? You make Utah State react to you as opposed to allowing them to set up what you're able to do, and that's what they got away from.
On the other side of the ball, Utah State had it going on pretty much from the get-go. They blocked a punt on UTSA's first possession and ended up leading throughout. Kerwin Williams, of course, involved with the run, and Chucky Keaton has dished it out to a lot of different guys.
Well, you allow Chucky Keaton to sit back in the pocket and go through his progressions and find a receiver that he wants, and when he's able to do that, it's easy offense for this Utah State ball club.
That was a big 4th and goal touchdown run by Williams, and then Cameron Webb making this play happen for his first career touchdown. And that's where we're at with Utah State leading UTSA 27-3. And the numbers, especially when you look at the passing yards, go Utah State's way.
Well, UTSA needs to get more vertical. Ryan Polite has shown the ability to get the ball down the middle of the field and find the right receiver. You need to stick with that and allow that to create lanes for your running game. Right now, Utah State is just kind of sitting back and allowing, them, actually they're dictating what UTSA is able to do as opposed to UTSA dictating what they want to do and making Utah State react.
Utah State penalty free in the first half. UTSA 4 penalties for 32 yards, and they were costly. That personal foul penalty really hurt them. As you see Larry Coker's career mark, he's made a career by avoiding that kind of disciplinary mistakes. On the other side, Utah State and Gary Anderson have to be happy with what they've seen today. Josh Ward kicks off for UTSA. Chuck Jacobs takes it at the 4. Clear path to the 25, but he's hit there and taken down. And Utah State will start at its own 27. And Forrest, for both of us, I think, if you're UTSA trying to get back in the game, you need your defense to step up and set the tone right here.
Well, defensively, they've done a pretty good job this game, but they've got to continue to do what they did in the first half, and that's key on the quarterback. Don't allow Chucky Keaton to get outside the pocket and make plays, and don't let Kerwin Williams get started. As you saw by the rushing statistics in the first half, he didn't do that well, but you've got to continue to contain him.
Williams to run to start the half, and he's got a step, and he might be gone. Kerwin Williams down the sideline and tripped up inside the 10. Flag on the play. UTSA will take it, but the big play right off the bat from Williams.
And just as I said in the first half, they contained Kerwin Williams, and what do? He comes out in the second half, first play, and gets down the sideline, and it looks like we're going to have a horse collar.
66 yards, if my math is right.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 14 defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
And Tristan Wade did what he had to do to prevent a touchdown.
And they have to call that because you can hurt the offensive player by tackling him, by the horse collar. You've got to continue to play clean football.
First and goal from the 2. Williams dives for the end zone, doesn't get there. He's ruled down short of the goal line, and it'll bring up second and goal.
And this can really demoralize the team. You come out after the half, you feel pretty good about some key stops that you've made.
They go quickly again. Williams has a clear path to the end zone, and he's in for his second touchdown of the day. It's 33-3, Utah State.
And this is what Matt Wells, the offensive coordinator for Utah State, wants. He wants quick scores. He does not care about time of possession. He just wants to put points on the board, and this has to demoralize this UTSA team. Offensively, they've got to come out and try and get a score on the board. They're trying to get some enthusiasm back on their sideline.
Kerwin Williams entered the game 5th in the WAC in scoring with 7.5 points per game. He's got 2 scores today for 12 points, so he may be climbing the charts. Diaz adds the extra point, and it's Utah State 34, UTSA 3. Roadrunners will get the ball for the first time in the second half right after this. The scoreboard not dampening the spirits in San Antonio as the UTSA Roadrunners trailing Utah State 34-3, just underway in this third quarter. And at least from a UTSA perspective, they get the ball back here as Utah State has dominated and got the big play to set up another Kerwin Williams touchdown to open this second half. Brandon Armstrong back to receive the kick for UTSA yet again. And he spun down at the 15-yard line.
And the defender put a little extra on that. I don't think he needed to do that. He didn't need to mush him into the ground after making a good play. I hope that we don't start to see those types of plays. UTSA needs to continue to use this as a learning mechanism of how not to give up, to continue to fight. We saw this last week in the ball game against San Jose State. They didn't give up. They continued to fight. I want to see if they continue to do that now, Jonathan.
After the first quarter, they actually had the advantage on the scoreboard, 24-21 the rest of the game. Or after that early field goal in the second. Polite throws outside to Cam Jones. He's out near the first down marker at the 25-yard line. Polite was 12 of 18 in the first half. He's been pretty efficient throwing the ball today. The running game is where UTSA has really had a tough time. They do give Cam Jones the first down there. That was his third catch of the day. Polite fakes the give to Glasgow, keeps it himself, and stumbles his way forward for about 3.
Good job, man!
It's also a chance for Polite to get game reps, right? He came in against Rice a couple of weeks back, started last week. But every rep he gets here is going to serve him well in those games that feel a little more winnable, Idaho and Texas State, if he needs to be in there at that point.
He did a good job on that play by holding on to the football. Utah State did their best to try and strip that ball. So, like you said, Jonathan, reps are very good for this young quarterback.
Second down, he's going to toss a fade for Holmes, and he overthrew him. A lot of contact on the play as UTSA tried to use Holmes' height advantage. But it'll bring up third down and 7.
Well, the defender never turned around to locate the ball, and I think if this ball was catchable, you could have possibly had an interference call.
You got lucky one.
So a short 7 or a long 6 on this third down for UTSA. Early third quarter. Polite rolls to his left, looking, trying to throw backward across his body and eventually run out of bounds. Al Lapuaho was the man right there forcing him out. And it'll be another punt for UTSA, an area in which they struggled in the first half, averaging 24.6 yards on 5 punts and having 1 blocked.
Well, as a right-handed quarterback, scrambling to your left and throwing back across the field is very difficult, and Utah State had really good coverage on that play.
Christian Stern gets the punt away and gets run into and eventually gets the call. Took a long time for the referee to throw the flag.
Well, I don't know about that call. It looked like he got blocked into him.
It's a personal foul, roughing the kicker penalty, which means an automatic first down. The yardage would have done it anyway. Larry Coker giving a fist bump to Christian Stern for A, hitting a good punt, and B, getting the penalty.
Well, he earns an Academy Award on this play because the defender looked like he got blocked into the kicker, and the kicker, took advantage of that right there, and maybe that's a mercy call right there by the officials.
So that'll bring UTSA out to the 42-yard line. First penalty of the game against Utah State. And the first down that UTSA has gotten, not via the pass. Light, his pass picked off by Fackrell. It was intended for Cole Hicks, and Kyler Fackrell, the redshirt freshman, with one of the easier interceptions he's ever going to have.
Well, Polite never looked off his receiver, and the defender was able to make an easy play on the football. You cannot come out of the huddle predetermined where you're going to throw the football. He never took his eyes off of the receiver, and the defender was right there to make the play.
You could see on the replay, Fackrell picked up Polite's eyes as soon as he got the snap and was always moving in that direction. So Utah State will start at the UTSA 44, already up 31 at the second turnover of the game by the Roadrunners. Keaton tries to set up a screen. It's Joe Hill down the sideline, inside the 10, inside the 5. And again, that screen pass, when UTSA least expects it, pays dividends with Joe Hill, the redshirt sophomore.
And if you watch this play, left tackle number 74, Kevin Wimpy, is leading the way. He is down the field blocking, and that is what is great about this offensive line. Their tackles get down the field. A lot of times on screens, it's only the interior linemen, but their tackles get down the field and make blocks on their screen passes.
First and goal at the 2 for Utah State. Hill, the tailback. Play action to him, toss it toward Bartlett, overthrew it with Nick Johnston in coverage, and it'll be second and goal.
Well, there was great pressure by the UTSA defense. They did not allow the quarterback to get his feet set, and when Chucky Keaton can't get his feet set, he can't make the throw that he wants to make.
So Kerwin Williams out of the game with 11:50 to go in the third quarter for Utah State. Joe Hill in, who's been very effective when he's gotten time. It's Hill straight up the middle for the goal line. It's a close call, and they've got him short. Brian King and Brandon Reeves in on the stop for UTSA. And a little extracurricular shoving, but no flags fly. Spotted at the 1, third and goal right there. Utah State going to go quickly. It's Hill. Call stopped at the line. Second effort, he's in. Joe Hill with the touchdown, and Utah State continues to dominate. And flags fly as we get some more pushing and shoving in the aftermath.
Oh, you saw in that play that running back continued to move his feet and churn and get into the end zone.
Wait and see if there's offsetting penalties or if it'll go against one team.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 4 on the defense. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff, 15 yards.
Crosby Adams, the cornerback, with another 15-yard penalty for UTSA.
And I think it's frustration. Frustration is starting to set in for this young ball club, but because it's starting to be a repeat of what they did and what they saw last weekend.
Right now it's a repeat of the negative moments and very few of the positive as Nick Diaz adds the extra point. Utah State 41, UTSA 3. We'll see what happens with the Roadrunners right after this. Back here at the Alamo Dome, third quarter, Utah State chasing the final Western Athletic Conference football title, firmly in control of this one, leading 41-3 over the UTSA Roadrunners. Still transitioning to the FBS level. And the kick after the penalty easily sails into the end zone. Will be a touchback. And UTSA will start at its own 25. Forced Utah State picked to finish second in the WAC behind Louisiana Tech. Those two kind of expected to battle for it. Looks like Utah State, I can't say they've clear sailing because they have Texas State next week, but they sure look like a threat for that title.
Well, they've imposed their will today on this UTSA ball club with the way that they've responded to some stops that UTSA has been able to make.
Polite threw an interception his last time out. Straight ahead give here, only a couple yards on the play. Threw that one interception at the end of the half as well, so Utah State with 2 on the game. The one at the end of the half, it wasn't great execution, but you give him a bit of a pass on it because he was throwing it up as the last play. It'll be 2nd and 7. Throwback to Jeremiah Miller, the tight end, and he's got the first down. Has a little bit more out across the 40-yard line. And after fumbling last week, 2 hands on the football for Jeremiah Miller.
And that was a great misdirection play. You've got everything flowing to the right side, and you throw back to your left, and you give Miller the opportunity to get the ball and get upfield with some lead blockers in front of him. And look at this play. You've got 2 lead blockers, and like you said, Miller sees the contact coming. He covers the ball up with 2 hands to protect it and make sure he doesn't fumble.
Patrick Hogue and Scott Inskeep, the linesmen, getting out there on that play. This time you see Brandon Armstrong stopped at the line. Be a gain of 1 on the play. Josiah Monroe, Cole Hicks check in. As you see the numbers on Armstrong, he's not big, but he's certainly had some big plays for UTSA this year. Had a huge catch against South Alabama back in the season opener. Defensive line jumped, flag flies. Polite just throws it up the middle, and it's incomplete in the direction of Miller, but the penalty will get UTSA some yardage here.
Offside defense, number 99, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And we've seen this a couple of times, and finally the center reacts when they jump off sides prematurely. He snapped the ball, which gives his team a free play, but also allows them to get the offsides penalty on the defense before they're able to get back and get set.
Nate Leonard, the center, met him last week. He writes a blog for the Huffington Post website, which is well worth a read if you can find it online. Hot route outside for Jones as the corner blitz was coming, but it's incomplete off the hands of Cam Jones. It'll bring up 3rd down. Polite recognized the play on the defensive side of the ball, but Jones couldn't hold the throw that was a little low.
And I have to wonder if that ball got tipped.
Willie Davis was coming. He's already got an interception on the day. He's got a tackle for loss. He's had a good game for Utah State.
This is a big 3rd down for this ball club.
Polite looking for Grubb. Has him. 1st down and more inside the 10-yard line. Aaron Grubb with a big catch for UTSA.
And you have to give the offensive line credit on this play. It was a slow developing play. They gave Polite time to find Grubb coming across the field and get the ball down the field to him. This is what you want to see from this UTSA offense. Get more vertical.
They credit Grubb all the way down to the 7-yard line. UTSA will go with the I formation. Nate Shaw in at fullback. And now he shifts as one of the blocking backs here. They give it to Okacha, the 2nd man through up the middle. Evans Okacha finds the end zone.
And what you like about this play, Jonathan, they had a lot of moving parts on this play, and I think that confused the Utah State defense, which allowed Okacha to find a lane and get to the end zone.
Evans Okacha, we talked about Kerwin Williams' rank in scoring. Evans Okacha also in the top 10 in the WAC in scoring and adds a touchdown there. Scored last week on a long screen pass. And gets UTSA on the board here in the 2nd half. Christian Stern for the extra point. Knocks it through and makes it a 41-10 game. Stern doing both the kicking and punting with Sean Iano out injured. But a little bit of a confidence pick-me-up right there for UTSA. They go 75 yards in 6 plays and only 2 minutes, 19 seconds thanks to that big throw to Grubb for the third down conversion. Here's the touchdown.
And if you look at this play, there are a bunch of moving parts, and I think that confused the Utah State's defense, and it allowed Okacha to find him a lane and get to the end zone. And this is what you have to do. There was a lot of misdirection throughout that drive. We saw the throwback to the tight end. We saw the slow developing play with the receiver coming across the field. We saw the touchdown with someone coming in motion and the fake handoff. So this is what you have to do to defenses like Utah State. Do a little bit of confusion, a little bit of misdirection, and allow your playmakers to make plays.
UTSA 2-2 this year against FBS opponents. Wins over South Alabama and New Mexico State. Losses to Rice and San Jose State. Certainly they're hopeful of coming out of WAC play with maybe a 500 record in their first season. They'll go to Conference USA next year, while Utah State will go to the Mountain West as Tristan Wade makes the tackle on Chuck Jacobs, who did bring it back past the 25 on the play.
Now defensively, can UTSA come out and play aggressive and not allow the big play? One thing we have not seen from Utah State is a sustained long drive. They've had, when you look at their drives, the longest one today has been 3 minutes and 21 seconds. And they've had 7 scoring drives throughout this game. So if they can try and hold them on this drive, we may see them be able to make some more noise offensively.
First down catch by Cameron Webb out across the 30. It'll bring up second down. Still Chucky Keaton at quarterback. Joe Hill in for a second series at running back as you look at Blake Terry, who's seemingly everywhere on defense for UTSA. Little toss play to Glover Wright coming across the formation. And he's pushed out of bounds. Looks like they'll give him the first down. Out around the 39.
And I like what Tristan Wade did on that play. He found his way through maneuvering through traffic to get to the offensive player and get him knocked out of bounds, because if he doesn't, he may be able to turn it up and get more positive yards.
Keaton, quick pass outside, diving catch made by Bruce Natson, the freshman. And it's another short pickup of 4 on first down there.
You've got a mismatch when you've got Blake Terry trying to cover him out of the backfield, because he's a smallish, more quick back, and you have to wonder if they will try and exploit that if they see that matchup again.
Hill goes in motion outside. Keaton to throw, has Bartlett short of the first down. Blake Terry's all over him with help from Nick Johnston. And it'll bring up 3rd and 2. Terry didn't start the year as a starting linebacker, but he's worked his way into a rotation.
And this is a big 3rd down. I think if they can get a stop on this 3rd down, they'll force Utah State to punt. And offensively, they may be able to get back down the field and make this game interesting.
Flag flies.
Illegal substitution offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And the penalty goes against Utah State, just the second of the game against the Aggies, and that'll make it a much more challenging 3rd down, now 3rd and 7. Keaton will go from the shotgun here. Crowd trying to get into it. Keaton under pressure. Keaton goes down. Kerfis got to him first.
And this is what you have to do if you're this UTSA defense. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Do not allow Chucky Keaton to sit back there and pick you apart, and this is what they did. They brought the linebackers on a delayed blitz. Keaton was not able to react. They get him down. Now they give their offense the ball back. If I'm the UTSA punt defense team, I don't worry about trying to block this punt. I worry more so about setting up a return, getting my offense back on the field, and allowing them to get down the field again.
First punt of the game. Grubb bobbles it and will just knock it out of bounds. It was his first time returning a punt. Their normal returner, Kenny Harrison, is hurt. And he just wanted to do damage control there.
And I have no problem with Grubb bobbling the punt because he wants to make a play. He's been making plays throughout this ball game, but you have to catch the ball. And he did the smart thing. He didn't try and pick it up and run. He pushed the ball out of bounds as opposed to, not being able to get control of it and giving, Utah State an opportunity to make a play on a muffed punt.
And we saw him yesterday at the walkthrough. We saw him today before the game working on fielding punts in this building. You've got lights at the top of the dome that make it difficult. First one in a game caused a bit of trouble. Polite to throw right away. Cole Hubble does well to hold on to that ball. He took a hit on the play from Cameron Sanders and has the first down anyway.
And UTSA has been able to find success in the seams with the seam routes against this Utah State defense. And you have to wonder now, do they start to make those guys think and get on their heels a little bit?
Some of the reserves have started to filter into the game on the Utah State side of the ball. Polite again to run it on the near side. Fakes the pitch and was driven backward by Fili Moeatu. And it'll be a gain of maybe a yard on the play.
And I just think if you want to establish the run, you do some north-south running as opposed to this east-west option game that they've continued to try to do with not much success. I think they've been able to hit the seams. You continue to do that. Don't fix it if it's not broken.
Three backs alongside Polite. 2nd and 9, wants to dump it to Cam Jones, and it's too low again. And those two have had trouble hooking up before. Polite trying to throw that one off his back foot and couldn't hit Jones.
We have to wonder why did they stop going vertical. Vertical is where they've had a lot of success. And you saw the first play of this drive, they went vertical, they got a first down, and then they got away from it. We're back to the east and west, and you cannot be successful against a bigger, faster defense like Utah State.
5 wides for Polite on 3rd and 9. Looking for Glasgow short, it's knocked down. Fans wanted some sort of pass interference call. They won't get it as Brian Sweet, the safety, timed that one well coming over the top.
And if you watch this play, Brian Polite does not have a lot of time because you've got a blitzing linebacker, and even if he does make that play, he'll be short at the first down.
Yeah, it didn't look like the route they wanted to hit on that play. As Christian Stern lines up to punt again. Gets it away. Webb calls a fair catch and makes it at the 35. It's a 34-yard punt with no return. And you see the numbers all in Utah State's favor, of course. They're up 41-10, almost 400 yards of offense, and the yards per play, a big differential there.
Well, UTSA's done a real good job of passing the football. Running the football has been non-existent. And when you look at Utah State, other than the big run coming into the second half, they had not run the ball very well.
It's been mostly through the air, through this man, Chucky Keaton. Playing in his home state. Gives to Joe Hill across the 35, taken down by Nick Johnston after a 4-yard pickup. And we talked to Gary Anderson, the Utah State head coach, about some of their recruiting. They want to get into Texas. They want to get into Florida and start competing there. A performance like this sure can't hurt.
Well, it definitely helps this program, and it gives them exposure that they wouldn't usually get. So, and when they're playing as well as they have played, it will open some recruits' eyes as a possibility of going to Utah State.
Hill right up the middle, found some room, and is stopped near the first down marker. Keaton himself, they got him up to Utah for a visit a couple years ago, and they beat BYU on that night. And I think the atmosphere sold Chucky Keaton more than anything. Third and short now for Utah State. Hill up the middle, has the first down before being thrown back, but he had picked it up already before Burge and King hit him.
And as much as Utah State's offensive coordinator Matt Wells likes to score fast, I think he will be content running the football, getting some time off the clock, and preventing his defense from having to get back out there on the field.
Hill again, straight forward and taken down. Nick Johnston got a hand to him. It'll be a short gain on the play. We saw Kelvin Lee get in the backfield as well on an earlier play. He and Hill among the backups to Kerwin Williams, getting a lot of reps in this second half. It's Hill at the moment. And Keaton will work from the shotgun on 2nd and 9. Quick throw out to Webb. Good hands to hold on to it. And he's just short of the first down. But it'll bring up 3rd and very close for Utah State.
And they've been very successful tonight with the quick throws. Because the defensive backs playing so far off of the receivers, they've got about 5 yards before they're getting contact. And when you look at the off receiver making the block, that gives them the room and the space that they need to get up the field north and south.
From the shotgun, even on 3rd and 1, it's Hill. He has the first down and gets inside the 40-yard line as Utah State continues to keep it on the ground and churn forward.
Well, on that play, Hill did not get hit until he got to second-level defenders, and that gets positive yards. And when you look at that, he doesn't get hit till he's 5 yards up the field, north and south.
Keegan Anderson, the coach's son, was in there blocking. DJ Tialavea splits to the right for Utah State. Keaton short to Hill out of the backfield. Nobody picks him up. And he darts his way down near the 31-yard line. They can't stop him right now.
Well, they're taking advantage of the zone defense that UTSA is playing, and they see pockets, and they're hitting those pockets, and by the time the defenders are able to react, they're 5 and 6 yards up the field.
Second and 3 for Utah State. Keaton pumps, thought about Jacobs. UTSA had it covered, and Keaton just throws it away. There's nobody within 30 yards of that play.
But he got outside the pocket.
I hate that rule. And it'll be, now the flag flies. I got one on you.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt on that play.
Intentional grounding. Number 16 on the offense. Loss of down. 3rd down.
Even if you're outside the pocket, there has to be a receiver somewhere in the vicinity.
Spot
Look
the
at
foul.
that. I mean, there was nobody on that.
There.
There was nobody on that entire side of the field. And Gary Anderson not happy about it either. But
well, they were looking for a stop and go on that play, but the defender did not react to the stop. He stayed with
and
the
that was on the left
player.
side.
Yes, he stayed with the offensive player, and so he had nothing. If Keaton would have stepped back and just threw the ball out of the back of the end zone on the left side of the field,
right,
maybe they don't get that call. But I wonder if they're discussing, because he was outside of the pocket, maybe not giving him, an intentional grounding call.
The referee certainly conferring with his compatriots here after explaining it to the Utah State sideline. I happen to agree with the call. Technical or not, he threw the ball away. There was no receiver anywhere near it.
Oh, definitely. You're right on that.
So in the spirit of the rule, I say it's intentional grounding, but I know that there are technical rules that define it differently.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. By rule, the action of the quarterback was legal. 3rd down. Incomplete pass.
I was right. He was outside of the pocket, and he got the ball past the line of scrimmage.
I will not disagree with the application of the rule. I disagree with the rule, but that's another story. 3rd down and 3 for Utah State. Keaton to throw. It's another screen. He finds Natson, and Natson tripped up but gets back on his feet and gets inside the 20. Crosby Adams got the last touch on him, and Natson's shaken up for a bit.
And that was great balance on that play because he got tripped up several times.
Well, with Natson down, we're going to step away. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the third quarter after this. The UTSA Roadrunners, their first and only year in the Western Athletic Conference. They'll go to Conference USA next year, trailing Utah State 41-10 here. And the Aggies on the move with a 1st and 10 at the 16 after Natson was helped off the field. Chucky Keaton to throw, has Hill wide open, and he kept his feet in. He's in the end zone for a touchdown.
And it looked like the defender just quit on the play. You've got to continue to play through the whistle. I want to look back at that play and see what Blake Terry saw because it looked like he just stopped. Chucky Keaton is looking down the middle of the field. He goes through his progressions. He sees his back. And look at the defender. It looked like he just stopped playing.
It's very uncharacteristic for Terry individually, but also for UTSA as a defensive group. Every coach we've talked to praises their effort on defense. And that one got away from him.
Well, I'm interested to see how the coaches respond to him when he comes to the sideline. And he looks to be gimpy a little bit. Maybe he twisted his ankle or something on that play.
48-10 on the touchdown catch by Hill, his second receiving touchdown of the year. He's got 4 rushing, and like Williams, a dual threat.
And once again, Keaton has all the time in the world to pick who he wants to throw the football to. He's allowed to go through his progressions. And if you give any quarterback that amount of time, they're going to find someone open. As a defensive player, you cannot cover forever.
Utah State, some big ones coming up. Texas State at home up in Logan next week. And then they'll get a bye. They'll get 2 weeks to prepare for Louisiana Tech, which again could be for the conference title. Wrap it up against struggling Idaho November 24th. They're bowl eligible for the 2nd straight year. They'd like to go to a better bowl, and they'd like to win that bowl game this year. Certainly have shown they have the chops to do it. Armstrong to return Bentrude's kickoff. Gets out near the 25 and falls forward to give UTSA 1st and 10. But again, you look at Utah State, their only losses, 6-3 at BYU, which is of course a rivalry game. 16-14 at Wisconsin, where they had a field goal attempt inside of 40 yards that could have won it. Very good resume.
Well, this team is about 3 plays away from being undefeated. And being a team that you're talking about possibly playing themselves into a BCS bowl, you know, or at least into the conversation.
Glasgow slashes off the left-hand side. Dowdy and Leisike in on the tackle. Of course, they burst onto the scene last year in Chucky Keaton's first game as a starter with that scare of Auburn. I think kind of woke the country up a little bit to Utah State. Keaton started first part of the season. Adam Kennedy started when Keaton was hurt down the stretch, led him to 5 straight wins. So program on the rise, Utah State. Final play of the third quarter here. Polite looking deep, has a man wide open, but he couldn't find him. It was Hubble, and Polite just has to run forward and take a very short gain. Hubble was wide open, but on the left side of the field, and Polite couldn't see him. That'll do it for the third quarter. Utah State 48, UTSA 10. Come back with us right after this.